Welcome to another episode of Beyond the Bell. Today we have with us Dr. Bat Thompson, principal of Parsippany Hills High School, and we have two seniors, Mr. Clark Lafortiza, and we have Miss Amelia Murata. Welcome, and thank you for coming today. Before we get started, I want to ask you guys, how is your senior year going?
Great.
It's pretty good.
Yeah?
I'd say my senior year has been going pretty well so far.
Has it?
Yeah, it's been really exciting. So
Okay, what about colleges? Are we looking at colleges?
Yeah.
Where?
Moravian and then in DC.
Moravian. It's dear to my heart. My daughter goes. Bruce. And
I'd say probably my top colleges right now, Stevens Institute of Technology in Hoboken, and NGIT back in Newark.
look at
So, yeah.
Clark. Look at Clark. Gotta be proud, Dr. Thompson.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. Outstanding students.
So we brought them here today to talk about an initiative that was started this year, and it was called We Dine Together. So why don't you tell us a little bit about We Dine Together? What is it?
I'll take the lead on this one.
So We Dine Together is a student organized and led group. Basically, we work on making sure nobody sits alone. We try to send out students who are friendly and get them to meet people just to ensure that everybody enjoys lunch. It's a part of the day where everyone we feel should enjoy and should have someone to talk to.
Who came up with the idea?
Miss Corbett.
So yeah, our advisor, Miss Corbett, kind of like brought this idea to us, asked us if we're interested, and we kind of took the initiative and said, "Yeah, let's do it." And then here we are.
So when you say she came to you with the idea, what did she say to you?
So it kind of started back in like end of junior year, around June-ish. We Dine Together was a national kind of program that was started, I think, back in California,
Okay.
and it kind of stemmed over across many schools nationwide.
Mm-hmm.
And then
And the idea behind it, Clark, was what? When you were talking to Mrs. Corbett, how did you guys come up with this? Did she recommend it? Did she say she read about it? Like, how did that happen?
yeah, she kind of read about it and brought it to us, seeing us as pretty proactive students, kind of wanting to take the lead on some stuff, and just being a positive influence on the school community. And we saw it as a great opportunity to kind of bring the school together, and here we are.
Okay, Amelia, when you say you guys brought it in there, were there kids at school that you saw in the cafeteria that perhaps weren't dining together, or what did you think of the idea?
I thought it was pretty fantastic. Not only did I definitely see people, I've experienced it myself. I moved to Parsippany when I was a sophomore, so I experienced that, not having anyone to sit with. So not only have I been there, but I understand it, and I want to be able to help others.
That's awesome. What, Dr. Thompson, it's your school. What have you seen? Have you been in the cafeteria? Have you seen this in action?
Yeah, I think there's students that choose to eat alone, and that's fine. And then there's other students, Amelia just said, that come in and may not know everyone in the building. They may be new or, just eating alone. And I think those students that may want a more inclusive environment, we have students that are proactive about it and then go out. Mrs. Corbett approached me about it. She had read about it and had proposing the idea for a while. And then it was just a matter of organizing. One of the things she pointed out is that it's very student-led. And that's one of the things about the national organization is they want key students to kind of take the ownership of the program and really drive it. And the meetings that I've attended that Mrs. Corbett has organized has been very student-driven. So I think there's some planning with Clark and Amelia and Mrs. Corbett, but for the most part, it's very student-driven at the meetings and planning and how to go around and who's going to cover which days on the rotating drop block and how they go around and how they find a space for the students to bring them in and different activities to bring everyone in to create an inclusive unit lunch environment.
Have you seen it in action? Have you seen kids and what's your thoughts on that?
It's been a few iterations. I think we started with a table in the caf, and then I think Mrs. Corbett worked really hard to find a room for the students to organize in. And I think you guys have organized some activities and things to bring everybody in, and board games and just some different activities to create a fun environment to go into. So I've seen it grow, and I think they've looked at strategies to try to bring people in and try to find students and things like that. But I think it's been a great initiative.
So Amelia, does it happen where they're in the cafeteria and you guys come in there, sit down, talk to them, and then invite them to go to, let's say, a classroom? Is that how it works?
Yeah, for the most part. Honestly, it's a situation by situation thing. Sometimes you end up talking to someone and you realize they are looking for like a new friend group. There might not precisely be a new student. So it's a lot of like, you kind of have to cater to each person, try to come up with an experience that'll be good for them. It's not a lot of like, everybody gets the same solution. So we do tell people there's a classroom. And the way I phrase it, I don't just say like, here's a classroom of people. I say, if you're ever looking for anyone to sit with, we have this classroom where people come together, we talk. It's just a way to get away from all the lunchroom chaos and stuff, and not having to worry about tables is great, and just to like come on and stop by.
Yeah. Clark, have you met other students that you're friends with from this process?
So yeah, actually, this happened day one, first day of school. Actually, was kind of going around. We wanted to start this as soon as we could. Me and my one friend, we were kind of walking throughout the media center trying to see if there's anyone sitting alone, kind of like doesn't feel like they're really included. Came across this one kid. He was also a senior in high school, but he just moved here from the Philippines, which is kind of where my heritage comes from.
Sure.
Which kind of created this natural bond between us. And we were talking throughout the whole lunch period.
Is that right?
No, yeah, and like I know my friend, he had a deck of Uno cards, but honestly, just the conversation that we were able to build just kind of created that friendship. And there's some interest that he had that shared with mine with video games. I know with weightlifting, which is something I'm passionate about. I kind of brought it to him, and he was also interested. So I kind of introduced him to our strength and conditioning club. Oh, wow. And it's just something that kind of naturally.
So now it's just blossomed, right?
Yeah,
that's great. How many students are involved in this endeavor?
So, kind of like throughout this club, we have a lot of students. I'd give or take 50 or so. Actually, I'd say over 60
volunteers for We Dine Together.
No, yeah, over 60 students throughout the student community, from sophomores to seniors.
Okay. So my next question, it doesn't have to be just seniors that can join the club. It can be anyone?
No, yeah.
Wow. That's great. You're making me proud. Both of you are making me proud. Dr. Thompson, I got to tell you, these are the things that we look for in our students, right? We want everybody to feel comfortable in our schools, want everybody to feel welcome in our schools. And thanks to you, they are. They are. Anything else you guys want to say about We Dine Together?
It's a great club. I'm kind of sad I only get to experience it my senior year. Yeah. I have a younger sibling who's moving up to high school next year, and I am really pushing it on her that I want her to keep working with this. And I think something important to note is, as much as we love having new members join us, you don't have to be a member to extend that kindness.
Okay. Oh, without question. Without question.
Yeah.
Clark?
I would say one of the big things about We Dine Together that I kind of find this like a hidden gem behind it is, while you think you're kind of just like going around the school trying to like make people feel more welcome, you're creating these communication skills that you don't necessarily think of as often. Like conversation starting and finding these common interests between people is something that many students can use, not in their daily lives, but in the future, like applying for jobs, colleges, all sorts of different things, which is an amazing skill to have.
That is a great point, Clark, because, I have 4 daughters, and, I see them all the time texting. That's what they do. They text. Didn't seem like anybody's actually communicating like you talk about, but that is a skill that they will need moving forward.
No, yeah.
Unbelievable. Dr. Thompson?
No, I think it's a great program. I think is Mrs. Corbett's brainchild, and it's made a great impact on our school. But I think it doesn't get off the ground unless we find great students with initiative that really want to see the program succeed, and students that don't generally want to support students. If that's not the case, I don't think it's as successful as it has been.
That's awesome. Yeah. Teachers involved too? Can teachers be involved in this if they like?
Yes, they can volunteer classrooms. We've been having a lot of teachers volunteering to make their classrooms an open space. And a lot of the time, teachers are always curious about what's going on.
Sure.
And at the beginning, it was, at least to my belief, Ms. Corbett sent out something asking about students that teachers thought would be a good fit for this program. So teachers have always had a really big part in it, in finding those students that maybe they weren't as involved, but they could see that they had that kindness, that light to them that we look for in this program. So teachers are definitely a big part of this program of getting people involved.
That Mrs. Corbett, we owe her a debt of gratitude. Mrs. Corbett, you're there. Come on, Belvin. I want to introduce you. Come on over here. Come on over. Come on, Mrs. Corbett. Come over and say hello. This is the brainchild behind it. She didn't want to be on there, but I'm calling her on. Mrs. Corbett, you can stand right here. I just want to say personally, thank you. Thank you. And they are awesome. Are you kidding me? Well, now you're here. Can you say a little bit about where you? I know they spoke about it, but why did this endeavor? Why were you so passionate about it?
It was a video actually on YouTube
Okay.
that talked about the student. Remember seeing that video about the student who began in California, she said, in the 90s,
Okay.
and how he was alone. He came from a different country, and he felt what it was like to sit at the table alone during lunch,
Sure.
and he didn't like that feeling. So when he started to get involved and started to be more popular in school, he thought that he needed to do something, kind of like give back.
Sure.
So he began the program.
Yeah.
It's now actually international,
Internet.
and it's run by these guys. It's awesome to see them in the hallways
Absolutely.
and to hear their stories. Just sometimes saying hello. And I love what you said about the kindness. That's what it's about being kind to each other and reaching
I
out.
agree. Well, you've done an excellent job. Thank you for bringing it, and thank you for the students, because they really are a good representation of what we want to model in our school.
Absolutely.
So thanks again. Anything else?
No, take it.
All right. Well, without any further ado, we're going to be signing off.